Yeah?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Hi, I was going to say hi Aidan, I'm GTG. Hi guys. Hi guys, I'm Aidan from GTG. Going to discuss a topic, returning from injury and getting past a movement issue. The reason why I do this video is it just seems to come up a lot. It's a lot of conversations I have with people. And so just to give people a perspective that maybe will give them a sense of comfort in terms of how the process usually goes. So when someone gets injured, and when it's a movement issue, I'm just talking about aches and pains and niggles and things that are more movement based than anything else, maybe loss of range of motion, not a proper injury as in like a tear or a fracture or something that's, I guess, going to need surgery or something to that degree. More movement based stuff that could be changed by just using the correct muscles, moving better. The first stage in this is creating awareness with someone as to what's going on. So what is working, what's not working? What have they changed? What do they need to do again? I've got a video, or we've got a video in this about the GTG system and talk about the assessment where we try and go through all this. But that's the first part, saying this is what's going on, helping the person understand why, and then just setting expectations. The next thing is the theory behind it, which is how do you change that? What do you need to do to change the issues that you're having? Sometimes, depend upon the person, this can take quite a while. It depends on how physically aware, how much proprioception the person has, how proprioceptive they are. And then afterwards, trying to explain to him, you know, where and why and how exactly you do this. And again, some people love to know the why, other people not so much. You can spend a wee bit more time here. Once that's there and you get those, it's putting it into practice. Okay, sort of like anything. So you can read a book on something, learn the theory behind it, but unless you go and kind of put it into practice, it doesn't really matter that much, to be honest. You just have it in your head. So putting it into practice and doing the things that you need to do, and then after that, doing it consistently. So that's the final step. You got to do it consistently to change that pattern, to strengthen these areas. Progressively overloaded. Consistency is massive with pretty much everything. So it's very hard to get around that. So those are the main areas to go through. All right. Usually what we see, and especially I tend to find this, is when it comes to injury, because these happen at different times, and there's something that's called the chain effect, right? Which completely made that up, like I don't know, it's not like something that's a term that's actually out there. Basically it just means to think about whenever you affect one area in your body, it has a knock-on effect elsewhere. If you injure your foot, you're going to offload that foot if it's sore and change your movement patterns and have a knock-on effect somewhere else. When it comes to awareness, this can take time to help someone recognize and understand what knock-on effect that has had. So they'll usually start off somewhere around here, they'll get a bit of progress, and then they'll take a step back. So they'll take 2 steps forward and 1 back. Something might get irritated again. And a lot of the times that person begins to feel kind of hopeless and think that they're broken, rather than understanding that's just usually part of the process. Going from injury or movement issue to being completely fine is very rarely a completely linear process. Usually there's steps involved in it. I'll pause that now. At this time. Yeah? Okay, so usually that's not a linear process, okay? It's usually a step back every so often or a bit of a setback. What you find over time is the period of time it takes to get that setback becomes longer and longer and longer. So you get like 2 steps forward, 1 back, 3 steps forward, 1 back, 4, 5, and they get further and further and further apart. Again, this really comes down to how much stuff needs to be changed, how aware is the person, how easy is it to help them understand what they need to do, and how easy is it to put it into practice, which comes from both their physical awareness and proprioception and how good the person coaching them is, and how well the assessment is and how well it's understood. But I have something here that I've called the gas effect. So if you haven't already recognized, I like calling things effects. What I mean by this, and see this an awful lot in athletic populations or people who are used to being very active, is they tend to fill the space of whatever you give them in terms of extra range of motion or requirements. So if point 1 was where they were injured here, and then the next point is back to where they were previously, between here and here, they'll get to stages where maybe they're really limited at this point, But then as they further along, there's more and more and more stuff they can do. Okay, so if you imagine, like, if you take a space and you fill it full of gas, you put gas in it, it spreads and surrounds and fills that space. No matter how big it is, it will fill that space. And people do the exact same thing. As soon as you give them a wee bit more capability, they will step themselves up to that and not be very aware that they're beginning to push the envelope and begin to really push what their boundaries are. And this happens again, and usually that leads to the step back. So you give them a bit more capability, a bit more strength, a bit more range of motion or something, and they push into that. All of a sudden they're going from only walking every day to going out running because they feel better, and then they push it too much and they get a step back, and then they'll get to this point of feeling kind of hopeless, rather than knowing, listen, you just push too hard, that's all. And athletic populations and active populations do this all the time. Then eventually you get to the point where you get past this, which takes a long period of time once they understand that, and you get them back where they used to be and where they identified with, and then after that, they usually want to go and do something entirely different, like a new challenge or something they've never done before in their life, which is usually what the case comes. This part to this part is quite difficult. It involves a lot of setbacks, and as soon as you recognize that that is just part of the process, then there's no reason to sort of fret over it or get kind of down or feel hopeless, because it can happen quite a lot. So that's just giving a perspective on what it takes to return from injury or get over a movement issue.